and welcome back to another Tate Township Public Library craft. My name is Heather, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a painting using bubble wrap. Today we're going to be making trees. They're birch trees, and then the leaves you can see is made with the bubble wrap. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is take your canvas, which might be a different size than mine, that's okay. We used a couple different sizes, and paint the whole thing black and let it dry before you go on to the next step. So take a wide brush, use your black paint, open it up, paint the entire thing black, and then let it dry before you go on to the next step, which is using you're cutting out your bubble wrap. So go ahead and do that, and pause it while you're doing it, and come back and watch the rest. Okay, so while your black canvas is drying, the first thing you're gonna do after that is to cut out your bubble wrap circles. So we've already pre-traced a circle for you for 3 different sizes. So take a pair of sharp scissors and just cut out those circles so they're nice and round. Okay, so we've got our 3 circles cut out, and these are going to be the crowns of your trees. So you're going to paint the bubbly side, not the shiny flat side, but the side that's bubbly, and then you're going to use that as a stamp to stamp out your trees. Now, your canvas might be a different size than mine. I recycled an old one, and you guys probably got square ones, maybe a couple different sizes, so don't worry too much about that. The next step we're going to do is add some color to our trees. So set your canvas aside, and remember, you don't want to do this part until your canvas is completely dry. So place your trees down here. Well, first you can actually plan out where you're going to put them approximately. And remember, the taller the crown, probably the taller the tree, and then the smaller the crown, the smaller tree. So I'll probably do something like that, put the shorter one in the middle. So what you're going to do now is open your 3 colors of paint. I'm going to bring this over a bit so you guys can see it. So open up these 3 colors and put the lids off to the side. And use a little bit of a bigger brush. Or if you only have 1 brush, that's fine. And then what you're going to do is you're going to paint these 3. Move this a little bit with the colors. So we'll do one at a time. I'm going to do my bigger one first. So give your paints a stir. Start with 1 color. And then just lightly brush it on the top. You don't need to make sure that it's filled all the between the holes, because that's not what's going to make the imprint. So, and then just paint 1 color and 1 section. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just paint 1 section and then move on to maybe the next color. Give it a little stir, and it's okay if the colors blend if that's what you want. So I'll paint a section of this one. Grab some more paint onto this one. And then I'm going to go to my darker color, put some all over. And you can go and add more paint if you want of the different colors after you've got each one on there. Well, I'm going to get paint all over my fingers. That's the fun part of crafts, isn't it? I'm going to go in, I like this middle color, so I'm going to add some more over here. And you can blend it in a bit. So once you're happy with how your bubble wrap circles look, put your paintbrush down and make sure your hands aren't too covered in paint. And then you're going to flip them over very carefully. So take it with 2 edges with your hands. And I got to move my canvas back over so you can see. move this back over a bit. And then I'm gonna move my tripod just a little. There we go. And then remember where you kind of wanted them to go. So this one was my taller tree. I'm gonna put this one here. And then just lightly push it so that you get an imprint. And then very carefully pull it off. Oh, I didn't push it hard enough. A little bit harder, but you don't wanna move it because you'll get a smeared tree. There we go. So next I'm gonna do my little baby one. And it's gonna be the shorter one in the middle right here. Give it a little push, and then very carefully from the edge, peel it up slowly. Oh, that's beautiful. And then the last one, I'm gonna do kind of in between the two over on this side. And then push that one down. There we go. So the bubble wrap is garbage after that. And we're gonna leave this to dry and then come back and do the tree trunks. So give it a few minutes to dry and come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is step 5, which is your trunk and your branches. So we're gonna open up our white paint because it's like a birch tree. And we're going to take a brush and get a little bit of paint on it, not too much. And we're gonna start from the bottom of our canvas up to the top, and we're gonna do a stripe, and then we'll build the trunk because it's a little bit more realistic if it's wider at the bottom and it goes narrow. So first we're gonna start with our stripe. So come from here. Sorry guys, I'm doing it a little crooked so that you guys can see the canvas. So just do your basic stripe first, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna go over it again. And this is gonna be our trunks. So do a stripe for each one right underneath. That one was a little bit off center, but that's okay. So then we're gonna go back with a little bit more paint and then go at the bottom and do a little triangle. And then make it so that it fades up into there to make it wider at the bottom and narrower at the top. And you might have to do a little extra coat to cover the black. So we'll make this one a little bit smaller. Start with a little triangle. And then build it up a little bit so it's wider at the bottom. And then it gets narrower, skinnier at the top of your tree trunk to where your crown or your leaves are. And then the third one. Go back and make this one a little bit brighter because you can see the black through, but that's okay because we're gonna add some black stripes to make it look like bark at the end when the white is dry. So now that we've got our tree trunks, we're gonna take, if you have a smaller brush, if not, you can use the bigger one, but I have a little bit of a smaller brush. We're gonna draw some tree branches on the tree leaves. So just draw a little stripe. We're gonna just draw some sticks just to make it look a little realistic. And you really want to make sure before you do this part that your bubble wrap trees are dry because it will bleed the paint. And last tree. And you can go and touch them up and add some more branches if you want. Make them a little darker or brighter. And And add an extra branch up here because this one's tall. There we go. And then if you don't like how messy your lines look, you can always go with your little brush and clean it up a little bit if you want. Like I didn't like that part right there. All right. Now let this dry and come back when it's dry and we will paint the bark lines. Okay, so once the white chunks have dried, you can use your black paint to add some little lines to make it look like bark. So take a little paintbrush and draw on either side like this, and they can just be random and they don't have to be perfect or all the same thickness. You can go back and forth. Some of them can be just a little line like dab like that when you get closer. It's easier if you use a flat brush like this to do this part. And you can add as many as you like. Put some bigger ones down there. So go and do the other trees. And you can do some on the branches, but I wouldn't do too many up there. Add some more back on this one. And if it gets a little dry on your brush, that's okay because it'll just make them a little bit finer. My white was a little bit wet on that one still. All right. So now that we've got that done, the next is the fun part. This is when we're going to make snow all over the painting. So that's what, if you've been wondering what the toothbrush is for, that's what that's for. So we're gonna dip, and I don't know if it's gonna, you might have to hold your white to the side and kind of stir it around and get some, sorry, hold it over here, scrape some off and get some paint on your toothbrush. There we go, got it all over the toothbrush. And now we're gonna hold our toothbrush over top, and this is really important to have a piece of paper under your work surface and around so that you don't get anything on Mom's table or Grandma's table. So you're gonna hold it up above and then tap the back. And you can use another paintbrush if you want. I'm just gonna use my finger and see how it turns out. So you hold it above and you tap it. I don't have enough paint on there, so we need more paint. Okay, 8 inches away and we tap it. Whoa, big snowflakes. There we go. You can shake it, tap it. Let's get some more paint on there. Whoops. There we go. It's more looking splattery than. If you take the back side, the other end of a paintbrush, and you scrape it to hold it down, it kind of makes a splatter too, see? So if you use a pencil or popsicle stick and kind of rub, you want to do it towards you and angle the toothbrush down, and it gives you that splatter. It makes it, and this is where you can make it as snowy as you want. And the other thing you can do is use the other end of a paintbrush. I've got a lot there. If you want perfect circles, you can dab it into your paint and do it that way, or use a Q-tip. So there's lots of different ways you can add snowflakes to your painting. What I'm gonna do is these ones where it's splattered a bit, if you do dots around it, it looks like clusters of snowflakes, like that, you know, that really fluffy white snow where they all bunch together. So I'm just gonna do that so it doesn't look so splattery, but if you like it that way, you can leave it that way too. do this one over here. I think the rest is good. I do want a little bit more, so I'm gonna put my paintbrush back in and put a little bit more snowflakes. Oops, got a lot of paint on there. Over on this side I missed. Now it's a blizzard. That looks pretty good. Now, the last thing you always need to do when you make a painting or a piece of art like this is to sign it. So you can do it in white if you want, but I saved teal because this is my favorite color. And then in one of the corners, you're gonna put you can either do your initials, I'm just gonna do an H right here. And that's how, when you get famous one day, you get the credit. Or you can put it in your house and keep it. So there you have it. Your very own bubble wrap tree painting. Thank you again for joining Tay Township Public Library for another craft. And don't forget to share your photos with us at library@tay.ca. Bye!